Morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBear's Casino. Tommy Chrysant joining us from Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. I am at an undisclosed location presented by Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, and we are presented, of course, by LeBear's Casino. LeBear's Casino, go by there, check them out, watch the World Series at the Barstool Sportsbook inside LeBear's. Going to be a great crowd today. Will the Rangers take care of business? I want to talk about that. That's Tommy Chrysant's team, the Texas Rangers. Super impressive, TK. They go out to Arizona, and without Scherzer, without Garcia, Scherzer out for the rest of the tournament. Garcia, who's been fantastic, out. You think, okay, this is the perfect time for the D-backs to jump on them. That was not the case last night. I think we're a 10-0 lead at one point did the Rangers have. They held on 11-7. Good little comeback for the Diamondbacks to feel a little bit better about themselves going into tonight. But a dominant performance by the Rangers.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, they're hitting on all cylinders. No team has had so much success on the road in the playoffs as the Rangers have had this year. Kind of throws that home ballpark advantage right out the window. But in baseball, it's all about who's on the mound, okay? We know that. We've always known that. The guy on the mound can change anything. I don't care if you're playing at Alec Box Stadium, you're playing at Lee Hines Field, it don't matter. The guy on the mound is what is the difference and can be the main difference. So, I mean, the Rangers they've been the best ball club, one of the best clubs all season. Now, they did stumble down the stretch, and the Astros won the division. But this team that, as you know, I've watched probably 75% of their games. And when I say watch the game, I mean front to back, not caught 2 innings or something. And, I've been a big Rangers fan for a long time, as we've talked about. And Bruce Bochy, you can't help but think this is a part of the difference. Okay? Guys took 3 different teams to the World Series. Only 3 people in the history of baseball have done that. And one was like back in the 20s. So, and won, 3 series in 5 years with the Giants. I mean, this guy is just he was on the couch as he said, on the couch for a couple of years, playing with the grandkids, and then all of a sudden Chris Young, who had played for him at some point, said, "Come on, man, get off the reclining chair and come fix the Rangers here. We got this great ballpark. We got players. We spent money. We got Simeon. More importantly, they got Seager. And they got DeGrom and Scherzer, who DeGrom was hurt early in the year. He was going to be the ace.
Right.
And some guys have stepped up, and I got, they always say the manager what he matters, 5 games in a big league season, it might make a difference. And now that the DH is in both leagues, that might be 3 games because, you used to have some double switches and all that. But I got to believe it's a lot to do with Bochy, but more importantly, the pitching, the hitting, the defense. That, Ryan, you said double play Seager turn the other night to get out of a jam when he backhanded that ball. I mean, don't try that at home, folks. Most of you, nobody else could do that.
That ball was 100. That ball was 115 miles an hour off the bat that he turned that double play on.
Yeah, well, part of the reason why he turned it because it got to him rather quickly. And then here, you said this in the opening, Ronnie. Oli Garcia, he's not playing anymore. Couldn't play last night. Got some strain something in the left side, swinging the bat.
Oblique, yeah.
Yeah, so and that's you don't recover from that to come play the next night or even a couple of days later. Scherzer's done, but for these guys, and then you and I swapped a text last night. I think I called you. The guy who went in for Garcia, Jankowski. I don't know how many LSU fans, baseball Tiger gurus we got out there. He was on that Stony Brook team that came into Baton Rouge. What was that, 2018? Came into Baton
it was like
Rouge.
2020. I mean, 2012. I'm sorry, something like that.
Okay. Came in Stony Brook, shocked Pulmonary and the Tigers, and went on to Omaha. I didn't do anything in Omaha, but he was one of the dudes on that Stony Brook team. I remember we were all thinking, where the hell's Stony Brook? And they got announced, Right. But he was one of the dudes there, and here he is. And he had a big game last night, and, unbelievable. And I will say this, Ronnie, I don't think the Diamondbacks can win 3 in a row, but I also didn't think they'd win 2 in a row in Philly,
right,
in the NLCS. Okay, so I guess you never say never, but that Rangers train might just be rolling a little too fast down the tracks.
It was really impressive by the Rangers, and as you mentioned, all the wins that they've had on the road have been something else. Who do you think is the MVP if they win the series, the Rangers? It's Seager?
So it got to be Seager,
And,
unless Evaldi just deals tonight.
right.
Know?
And
but I think if they win 4-1, it's got to go Seager. I mean, I'm an argument about Garcia, even though he would not have played, last night, and he won't play no matter how many more games there are. But if I get a vote, it's going to be Seager. I mean, the defense,
chances are it's going to be Seager, and that would be his second MVP, World Series MVP. Won it in 2020 with the Dodgers. That's impressive.
I'm in a group text, Ronnie. I'm in a group text with a bunch of my former teammates at Southeastern. It's like 10 or 12 of us. It's like ridiculous. Some nights, so many texts go, but like Seager is a dude. That's what I said the other night. And, a couple of guys don't follow the game as closely as you and I, and they go, "Yeah, he's kind of good." I said, "He's better than good, and he's been that for a while."
Let's talk a little bit about the college football playoffs. It came out yesterday, the first rankings of the 12, 13-person committee. I think it's 13-person committee that puts out the college football playoffs. And, of course, the top 4 is what we're worried about right now. Next year, it'll be the top 12, but this year's top 4. Ohio State, number 1. Were you surprised by that?
I read a lot of stuff. Some people projected that. So I wasn't totally surprised, but these rankings give plenty to talk about. It's a great marketing tool leading up to the selection Sunday. I guess will be early December, and all this, that, and the other. It gives us something to talk about. Everybody around the country talking about it. The oldest saying in Hollywood is, "I don't care what you say about me, just say something." Well, people are talking about it today. So to answer your question, no, I'm not surprised. I really don't think it's all that important. Going to be more important as we get to December 1. Today's November 1. And then, of course, what happens in conference championship games and all of that. As Rance likes to say, let it play out.
Well, the thing I will say is that, I think at this moment, as we are literally the first day of November today, that Ohio State does deserve to be number 1 based off of what they've done, right? They had the 2 big wins, Notre Dame and Penn State. They played a much tougher schedule than Michigan and Georgia. Both, I didn't realize how bad those schedules were that they played. Georgia 110, ranked 110, Michigan 111. So based on that, clearly Ohio State deserves to be 1, Georgia 2, Michigan 3. The battle for 4th is an interesting one. I think a couple of weeks ago, people thought Washington. Now they kind of struggled and survived and advanced. But Florida State really, who's got the more impressive win? Do you take Florida State beating LSU on a neutral field, neutral wink, wink, nod, nod, 2.5 hours away from Tallahassee? Or do you take Washington knocking off Oregon, which is a more impressive win? Technically, the Oregon win is a more impressive win for Washington. Oregon's ranked 1 spot behind them. So I was probably a little surprised not to see Washington as 4. Florida State is in there at 4. Probably Washington will have more opportunity to flip-flop that because as they play tougher games down the stretch, might end up with a harder strength of schedule. The ACC is terrible this year. So we'll see how that shakes out. I think if Washington and Florida State both win out, there's a good chance that Washington can end up ahead of Florida State if all said the same. Michigan and Ohio State will kind of take care of themselves. Doesn't necessarily mean one will fall out of the top 4, but they will play each other. And clearly, if Ohio State blows out Michigan, then most likely Michigan falls. But Michigan and Georgia both going to have a tougher stretch down the road, down the stretch at the end of the season. It'll get harder for them schedule wise. I thought what was interesting was Tulane. Right now, if all were to end, would be in the old playoff format. They are the highest non-Power 5 conference at the moment ranking. They are ranked 24th, Air Force 25th at the moment. And LSU came in at 14, which is 1 spot below where they are in the polls. They're 13 in the polls. I kind of thought, Tommy, SEC, strength of schedule, all that would have LSU a little higher than 14, but, they are the highest ranked 2-loss team.
Yeah, they are. And I mean, that'll all change next Tuesday if they defeat Alabama on Saturday. So, again, I don't think people need to put a whole lot of weight and stock into the first release of these rankings. It's kind of like a mock draft. It's kind of like all that. I mean, it's like, okay, it gives us something to talk about, but it's probably going to be quite different when we get down the road.
I'll tell you something that will be different is the sidelines for the Raiders. Not that it's a surprise. Josh McDaniel fired. The GM fired. McDaniel didn't even make it through the second year. This is the second stint he's been fired in the second year. He did that at the Broncos a decade ago. And this is now the 8th head coach for the Raiders in the last since 2011, which is unbelievable. But what does it say that Derek Carr, maybe it wasn't all Derek Carr last year, right? Maybe a little bit of it was McDaniel. McDaniel got the job because Mac Jones, the rookie quarterback for the Patriots, had a really good year, his rookie year. Got to start, played well. Patriots was surprised on offense. Jones was a surprise. And people thought, okay, second time around, been a decade since he's been a head coach. He's been over there at Belichick. They gave him another shot with the Raiders. I don't know how much of it's McDaniel or just that freaking organization. But the bottom line is it just didn't work out again. The Raiders said they're going to look for a coach and a GM in the offseason. They promoted assistant GMs and assistant coaches to be the head coach just for the rest of the year. They are a program in disarray. But I'm curious, I'm sure there's a part of Derek Carr that's like, see, I told you so.
Yeah, but you disarray. You use that word, but we can use a lot of words. That organization is just, and they got a beautiful, great stadium. Didn't you say you're going out there for the LSU Southern?
LSU, USC are going to play in that stadium next August.
But I've talked to a couple people that have been there. It's fabulous, blah blah blah. So, they got that, but the organization just 8 coaches in 12, 13 years. I mean, that's not how you're going to have a consistent winner and playoff contender and championship caliber team. So let's hope that they, can fix all that. We get a coach and a general manager and, try to get it all fixed and go forward because they're definitely in the bottom couple of franchises in the entire league right now.
By the way, McDaniel's record 3-5 this year. Saints 4-4. Curious if had the Saints lost to the Colts and they had been 3-5, would anything have changed? I don't think so. I kind of think the Saints look at themselves as a program that's a lot more consistent and less knee-jerky to making a change like that. But the good news is I don't think we're going to have to worry about that. I think the Saints, I don't know, maybe it's the fan in me. I think they have kind of turned the corner a little bit. Their division has a lot to do with that. They're going to be able to turn the corner, and even if they don't live up to the expectations, they're going to be competitive and be in the conversation for the playoffs until the very last game of the season. And as an organization, you're not going to make a change if that's the case. Saints were not active in trades, by the way. Trade deadline came and went. I guess the biggest story, Dobbs, who started for the Cardinals every game since their quarterback got hurt. He had lost his job, wasn't going to be the starting quarterback this week. The Cardinals have had a terrible year. Well, the Vikings made a trade and brought him in as to play quarterback. There was some talk that maybe the Vikings would reach out for Winston. Maybe they did. I don't know. Maybe the Saints said no. And then, Young, remember Chase Young, he's headed to go to San Francisco to play on the opposite side and help that pass rush. That's a nice get for the 49ers to have 2 Ohio State bookends, kind of, Bosa and Young over there getting after the quarterback.
Yeah, one other thing, Ronnie, pointed out by Carl. Today's the birthday for the New Orleans Saints. They were born on this day. It is All Saints Day in the Catholic religion, but November 1st, 1967 is when they were officially granted a franchise. I was a little kid out there at Chalmette and thinking, man, we got NFL, we have pro football, and it's all going to be good. So a special day in the Saints organization history. And on All Saints Day, you put all that. New Orleans is a big Catholic religion town, so you put all that together, and that's a pretty cool thing. But yeah, we'll see what the Saints can do going forward. I mean, they should win against the Bears Sunday, but you never know.
Speaking of the Saints and the Raiders, I told you that story a few months ago. Dave Dixon, who was a part of bringing the Saints to New Orleans and that franchise and getting that franchise, tried to bring the Raiders to New Orleans in the early 60s, and they thought they had the deal done. They actually had it verbally agreed over the phone, and then before anything was signed, there's no faxes back then and everything, and before they could meet up, there was a better offer, and they went back and forth, and eventually Dixon and the Saints group backed out when the numbers got too high. But you might have the New Orleans Raiders, which I think is probably just as maybe even a better fit with the whole pirate theme and everything of New Orleans than actually the Saints. But anyway, it is what it is. How different the franchises and might have been had the Raiders come to New Orleans in the early 60s, probably would have changed the trajectory of the franchise. All right, we move on. LSU finds themselves, Tommy, a 3-point dog, but that line hasn't changed since Monday, but the over-under has.
Yeah, it went up to 60.5, I think a lot of points. When I saw that, I was thinking this morning, I guess there might be some value in betting the over. You got to believe. LSU is breaking records with points scored and yardage and all that per game that they've never done in school history. Now Bama's defense a little better than Army's and some of the other people LSU played, but you just got to believe that LSU is going to score 35 points or more. And then when you look at LSU's defense, does that mean Bama can put 25 or more up on the board? And like we talked about the other day, this Bama team, not the Bama in the past, and when I say that, I mean I can score from anywhere on the field. They can go 80 yards with a pass player running. I'm not saying they want to have an 80-yard touchdown Saturday, but they don't have that big of a threat as they've had in the past with NFL dudes at wide receiver, quarterbacks winning the Heisman, this, that, and the other. I mean, so I don't know. I like LSU to win. I like the over, and we'll see if I change my mind by Saturday.
Saints find themselves a touchdown and a half, 7.5-point favorites over the Bears in the Dome on Sunday. Two teams trending in opposite directions as far as the Bears and the Saints go. I would buy that 0.5 point, Tommy, and take the Saints. This is a chance for, get back to home. You just felt really good about yourself. You had one of your best offensive games of the year. The offense puts up over 500 yards. Bears are a struggle bus right now. They got blown out by the Chargers. Like, this feels like it should be a comfortable Saints win.
Really does. I mean, all the factors you just mentioned and the fact that they're now tied for first in the NFC South, do get to play the Falcons twice. They still got to play them twice in the future of the schedule. So, they got to win this week. Get it done. Take the confidence and the momentum from the Colts game, and the Bears are not exactly in great shape as a football team. So, a great opportunity for the Saints to get above 500 and get on a win streak. Get on a roll.
Went to the Pels game on Monday, and of course, I'm the one that brought them bad luck. This Pels were 2-0. They're at home on a Monday night, taking on the Golden State Warriors. Supposedly, the Golden State Warriors aren't as good as they used to be, and then they just blow out the Pelicans on Monday night. I will say this, couple things. I do like the jerseys. Now, they wear different types of jerseys, but the ones they wore on Monday were red, and it said Crescent City instead of New Orleans. Had Crescent at the top, City underneath on the number. That was really cool. They always do a great job. It's a fun environment, but the Pels were never in it. And as far as which team are you buying? Are you buying the 2-0 Pels? Are you buying the 2-1? I'll say this: I didn't realize till I got there, Ingram didn't play, didn't dress. He's banged up. He didn't play on Monday. And again, we're talking about now. Going into the season, there were only 10 games that CJ, Ingram, and Zion had ever played together. It's up to 12 now, and of course, the one game that Ingram's out, they get blown out.
Yeah, well, that was a factor the other night, not having him. Something with his knee. Now, they play at Oklahoma City tonight, and they're home again tomorrow night, a back-to-back. Fly in, got to host the Detroit Pistons tomorrow night. So, Willie Green said something about the knee. They were evaluating it. So you would think they give him the night and tomorrow off, there's a lot of basketball left, and it's certainly not going to make him go back to back if there's some questions with the knee. But that was a factor Monday. But the Warriors just got it done and handed it to him by 30 points, whatever it was.
Curry scored 42, and
how was the crowd, right?
It was a good crowd. I mean, it was a Monday night in October, so it's not like and it was the night before Halloween, so it wasn't like completely packed. It wasn't a playoff atmosphere where it was the same, but I mean, a really good crowd. I mean, I don't know the number, but a really good crowd. I thought for a Monday night, but it was interesting. It was interesting. Curry was such in the zone that Tommy, when he's shooting these threes, the ball does not scrape the net. Like it literally, it goes through the center of the net. The net barely even moves. I mean, the guy is just so good, and to see him do it in person, and to see how far out he's shooting, and as soon as he gets the ball's out of the hand. I mean, that's why he's arguably the best to ever do it.
I forgot to mention this Monday, but this past Monday night was one of the rarest occasions in the sports world, because you had NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL all in action Monday night. It's only like the second time that's ever happened in history where all the four major sports all had a game. It's in part because the World Series, it's usually not late October like that on the same night as it was. So anyway, but no, we'll see what the Pelicans can do on the road against the Thunder tonight, home against the Pistons tomorrow. You got to get one of those two.
Well, on Friday on Sports Church, I want you to talk a little bit, and we got to run right now, but I want you to talk some about the Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy golf primetime Monday night event that's going to start weekly in end of January. It's the details on this thing are unbelievable. It is going to change the way you look at golf. So I'm excited about that. So Tommy will tell us about that on Friday. As we get out of here, presented by LeBear's Casino, tell us about Tremonti's.
They got gift cards, great idea for office, everybody in the office, all your neighbors, whatever you want to do, gift cards. You got the Christmas parties to go to. And here's the thing, Ronnie, I'm going to have a couple of these like ready to go in case like somebody that I wasn't thinking was going to give me a Christmas gift shows up and go, hey, I did get you something. Here's a little $50 gift card from Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Good for anything in here, whether it's the wine, the whiskey, the food, the game processing, whatever you want. Great gift idea right here. Tremonti's gift cards. Stop by any denomination you want. Get a bunch of them, whatever it might be. So Tremonti's on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge has gift cards.
All right, he's Tommy Christ saying I'm Ronnie Rance. We're presented by LeBear's Casino. Please like and share this video. And if you're looking for a great place to eat, drink, and watch the World Series, maybe the clincher tonight, go by LeBear's at their Barstool Sportsbook. It's going to be a good time and great food over there. We'll be back on Friday morning for more Sports Shorts Daily. Until then, have a great week, everybody.